go. Hello, my name is Bryce Tubbs. With me today is Kevin Hill. I am so excited. He's a life coach and mentor, resiliency expert, children's and teens life coach, and UK's #1 suicide intervention coach. And he's a national speaker. He's on part of like a national speaking team at Transforming Lives for Good. And I'm so excited to have this conversation and really can't see what we can learn today. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Kevin.
Brilliant. I'm really pleased to be here, and yeah, it's just excellent just to chat with you and
And for those watching, before we go any further, if you're watching this from any location that is outside of our free community, I just want to personally invite you inside. It's taking a tremendous amount of time and energy to cultivate such a positive group of people who want to see you succeed. So if that's what you've been missing in these times we're in, come and join us by clicking the link either above or below and join us inside. Now, Kevin, what was life like before you got into coaching and speaking and training? Really, what was the catalyst that brought you into the space?
It was pretty mixed, pretty interesting. I've always worked with children. That's one thing I've always done. And then I went to Taiwan for 10 years. I was teaching English, which was I didn't want to go for it at first. And I wanted to go to Asia, but I didn't want to teach English. I didn't want to be an English teacher because my English is bad and all this kind of stuff. And I only found out 2 years ago I'm dyslexic. So a dyslexic teaching English was great fun. But my classes are very interactive. And then I came back, I did some children's work, and then my contract ended and I was like, okay, what's the next step? What do I do? So I got introduced to coaching, and there's a couple of things there. First of all is something that I realized that I'd already been doing without the coach title. And then, I realized that children need this just as much as adults. Because when I was a kid, I was an average student, and the teachers always focused on the star students. So, and I was like, I need help. I need some support. They're like, oh yeah, you're okay. And they just focus on the star students. So I didn't like school at all. I hated school and quite happy to leave as soon as I could. So I left school with nothing. But if there'd have been somebody there who could coach me and mentor me, then my life would have been very, very different, I'm sure. So, that's what it was like before. So that's just why, even when I was doing my course to get certified, I'm certified. I should be. I was sort of like listening because it was with adults, because there was nothing for children at that point. And it was just, okay, I'm listening, I'm taking notes, but I'm like, okay, how can I change this? How can I make this into an activity for the kids? And even then I was designing my own program to work with the children and work with teenagers because they need it. And it's not just, I get a lot of questions like, oh, you must just work with the troubled kids. Like, no, I don't. Troubled kids, yeah, they need it, but they recognize that they need help and support, whereas others don't. I mean, Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player, he had coaches to train him and teach him to be even better. So every child, I believe, needs some coaching and mentoring at some point in their life. That's kind of why I got into it.
Like on the ends of the spectrum is where most of the clients come from. Even with like just regular coaching, it's either the people who are struggling the most or the people who are struggling the least.
Yeah.
So, yes. Yeah, I think that's cool that you kind of went full circle for someone who didn't really get a lot out of school. Now you're giving a lot back to school,
Well, that's why I do this, because I want to give the children and the teenagers the best start, because the kids get a lot of flack today and a lot of the blame for everything. But and a lot of kids are just like, oh, the kids, they're useless. But we need to be raising up a generation that believes in themselves, that believe they can do things and achieve things. So I didn't have that, and my life so it was quite different. And I want to be there to encourage those kids to say, hey, believe in yourself. You've got a dream, go for it, achieve it.
So let me ask you this question. This is a weird question. We were talking earlier about how have a beautiful family and stuff. Has, all the training that you've done in coaching with children really helped you to, coach your own kids as well?
Yes and no. I I endeavor to train and coach my kids, but because I'm dad, they don't always listen to me, and it's quite annoying that somebody could come in and say the exact same thing I said,
Yeah.
but because it's not me, it's not dad. Then they listen to that person, and I was like, I've been saying that for weeks and months, and you're not.
Yeah.
So it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But as my kids are getting older, they are responding more to the coaching side of things as well, and so that is good. But yeah, when they were younger, there was a bit sort of like, oh, it's just dad.
Well, what you could do is, in I think it's like those speaking seminars, they call them plants. You basically have a person who you pay to go repeat the same thing. Make sure it's the same.
I like that idea. Listen, kid. Oh, did you hear what did you learn today?
Oh, wow.
That's so amazing. I wish I'd have thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing growing up. My parents used to say that a lot. That my brother, they'd be like, "We've been saying the same thing for weeks or for months," and then he hears on the internet or something, and then it just changes.
Yeah,
It's always funny, as long as it's
but
positive.
there's power in it because they do recognize that. Oh, eventually, they listen. And it's like, oh yeah, and then they kind of acknowledge that, yeah, okay, Dad, you were saying the same thing. So, so yeah.
Let me ask this question. So then, nowadays, I know that you are, a speaker and you're a writer as well.
Yes.
What's in the pipeline for you? Are you going to be writing a new book? Are you going to be speaking on some virtual or in-person stages?
Yes and yes. I am. I've got several speaking things lined up over the next few months. Some to do with the coaching and mentoring children, and some to do with suicide. But I've got a book coming out. I'm in the middle of writing this right now, and it's taking a bit longer than I thought it would have. Yeah, and it's just because it's for children. It's actually for a children's book. It's you have to use the right language. You've got limited space. If it was for adults, I could just write, boom, check it, done, it's there. But for the kids, you've got to get the. It's a coaching book, not just a story as well. So I'm including lots of coaching things. Because I was listening to somebody, I was on a Zoom call, and they were like, all this stuff about how to cope with the COVID and how to the children to cope and all this and how to deal with their anxiety and stress and being isolated. And there's lots of people talking about that, which is good, but nobody was talking about what do we do when we come back to school. So I was like, So my book is called Re-Entry, and I'm basing it on the space shuttle coming back into Earth. So I'm going through all the stages. So you've got the isolation when you're in space, you've got the decontamination, you've got the alien invasion and all this kind of stuff, and then coming back, re-entry back into Earth and to reintegrate back into school, back into society. So that's what my coaching book is about. But this is for children, and I'm working on that at the moment. It's called Re-Entry. It will be out fairly soon. Nice. Look out for it. Yeah.
Where can they go to either learn more about you, or where can they go to follow you until the book comes out?
I'm on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I'm just Kevin Hill. Facebook, I've got Kevin Hill, my personal profile, but I've also got Great Kids Life Coach. So yeah, and there's a few others as well. So if you're more interested in the suicide thing, so my suicide is called Grim Reaper Ain't a Keeper, because I've been through that, and I tried suicide when I was 16.
Oh, wow.
and then it does actually all connect, because the two biggest groups that die by suicide are middle-aged men and teenagers. So when we work in coaching children and teenagers, I've come across a lot of this anxiety, stress, and feelings that want to commit suicide, die by suicide. So that's why I got into the suicide thing as well, because I've been through that. And the Grim Reaper didn't get this one, so the Grim Reaper isn't going to get the next one. So that's thinking behind the title. So, but yeah, you can get me from Facebook, Kevin Hill, Great Kids Life Coach, Grim Reaper, Ain't a Keeper, or on LinkedIn as Kevin Hill.
Nice. Thanks for your time today. I really appreciate just getting to learn a little bit more about you and just sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, you're welcome. And for those watching, once again, if you haven't joined us inside of our community, go and click the link right now. It's taken such a long time to build such a positive group, and like the engagement is so high with people who are encouraging each other every day and kind of pushing each other towards whatever their goals are and their dreams. So if that's you, go on ahead and click on the link either above or below. Join us inside right now. Now, hopefully you enjoyed watching this as much as we enjoyed creating it. Feel free to hit the share button so other people can get some great value as well. Have a great day. We will talk to you soon. We'll see you in the next episode. I'm recording in 3 and 2 and 1.